Hello, I'm Linda Green, Business Engagement Manager of Executive Program Management Dashboards. Welcome to the 2016 Battle of the PPM tool presented by Team Exec. We will be presenting valuable information in 4 segments. In our first segment, we will discuss the current status of project portfolio management as published by leading organizations, including project failure rate, industry cost overruns, industry schedule overruns, and PMO governance perception, and more. In the second segment, we will compare the Gartner PPM #1 ranked Innotas by Planview with the award-winning PPM Executive Command Center. In the third segment, we will provide information on the PPM tool Accounting Bridge to Capital, operating expenses, and management reserves. And in the final segment, we will show how to assess value proposition when evaluating PPM tools for PMO governance and the evolution from immaturity to maturity. If you have any questions, please type them into the chat box as they will be addressed before the end of the presentation. And at the end of the presentation, you will be asked to complete an evaluation. So please make notes if you need to refer back to them when giving us your opinion. For our first segment, to discuss the current status of PPM, please welcome Dr. Frank Harper. Dr. Harper is very accomplished and has an impressive bio. I encourage you to take time to read it on our website, but allow me to highlight just a few of his accomplishments. Dr. Harper holds a PhD in Administration and Management and has multiple certifications across several disciplines, including Project Management Professional and Lean Six Sigma Black Belt. He is a talented consultant and a published author worldwide. In his spare time, although it's hard to believe he has any, he serves his community by being on several boards, including the advisory board for Team Exec. Dr. Harper, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Linda, very, very much. I'd like to say good morning, good afternoon, good evening to wherever you are in the world. It's very humbling for me to be given the opportunity to share with you on something that's very near and dear to my heart. I'm going to start by discussing a study that was published by the Project Management Institute, a recent study, in fact. Matter of fact, it's shown in the source link, and it shares the plight of project portfolio management. The study shows the following trends. Fewer projects are being completed within budget or meeting original goals and business intent. And additionally, more projects are actually failing and creating significant monetary loss for their organizations. The next few slides I will share statistics assembled by Capterra with references to the sources of each issue. Let's start with the first one. 1 in 6 IT projects have an average cost overrun of 200% and a schedule overrun of 70%. Now, there's more to that statistic, and we're going to talk more about that later on, but we're talking about large projects. Okay, we're going to also talk about smaller projects later on in the presentation. Moving right along, the United States economy loses 50 to 150 billion per year due to failed IT projects, and the source of that is Gallup Business Review. 75% of business and IT executives anticipate their software projects will fail. That means before they even get started, they know they're doomed for failure. And the source of that was Jenica. %50 of all project management offices close within just 3 years. The source of that is keyed in. Fewer than a third of all projects were successfully completed on time and on budget over the past year. That's according to the Standish Group. An astounding 97% of organizations believe project management is critical to business performance and organizational success. That is, they realize that it's a strategic enabler, the source being PricewaterhouseCoopers. As we continue, 33% of projects fail because of a lack of involvement from senior management, according to the University of Ottawa. Businesses identified capturing time and cost against project as their biggest project management challenge, according to the Access Group. Reliability, ease of use, and ease of integration are the top 3 requirements project managers look for when shopping for software. The source is the Access Group. "66% of project managers identified the level of support as the key decider in investing in new software." And that study was published by the Access Group. 44% of project managers use no software, even though PwC, that is PricewaterhouseCoopers, found that the use of commercially available project management software increases performance and satisfaction. "75% of IT executives believe their projects are doomed from the start." The source, Jenica. 63% of companies defer to executives to decide when to eliminate or put off a project. The source is Information Week. Now that I've given you share some statistics with you regarding the PMI published study, I'd like to drill down a little bit deeper and talk about a study that was conducted by the Harvard Business Review. This study was published, which analyzed over 1,000, or close to 1,500 IT projects, and found that the average overrun was 27%, but 1 in 6 projects had a cost overrun of 200% on average, and a schedule overrun of almost 70%. So what this is saying is that for small projects, the average overrun was 27%. But for large projects, that is small projects being $1 million or less, but for large projects, $5 million or less, okay, we had cost overruns of 200% on average and a schedule overrun of almost 70%. What we've done is we analyzed that data and put it in graphical form. We all know that a picture is worth 1,000 words. But the key takeaway from this particular slide is that of the 1,471 projects, okay, 16.6% projects were large projects, or 245 projects, okay, have a cost overruns over 200%, with schedule overruns of 70%. If we look at the variance of each of those projects, let's give a hypothetical here, okay? We're looking at $1 million project, whether it be a small project or whether it be a large project, just for sake of conversation. So if you look at the slide, the baseline for both types of projects, let's say is $1 million. Well, when you have, according to the statistics, you're with the 27% cost overrun and the 70% cost overrun for the large projects, the forecast would be that for small projects, we're looking at a budget of $1.27 million, and for large projects, we're looking at a budget of $2 million. When we look at the variance, okay, variance of small projects, that's $270,000, and the variance for large projects is over $1 million. So a key takeaway is that of the total 1,200 projects, roughly, or 83%, they have cost overruns of 27%. That is the smaller projects. There are a number of reasons for that, okay? And let me just touch on each of those very briefly. But let me begin by saying with the worsening project outcomes, disruptive global trends, and an uncertain economy, I believe it's time to strengthen the conversation around the following issues, which are essential to improving both project and business results. First of all, we have to look beyond technical skills. While technical skills are core to project and program management, they're simply not enough in today's competitive global economy, which is growing quickly, but with less predictability. The most successful organizations seek added skills in leadership and business, competencies that support and sustain long-range strategic objectives. The ideal skill set, a combination of technical, leadership, and strategic and business management expertise, is embodied in what PMI calls their talent triangle. When organizations focus on all three of these skill sets, 40% more of their projects meet goals and their original business intent. Now, let's look at another point. Recognize that the strategic role of an enterprise-wide project management office, the EPMO, and align it to strategy. If you recall, one of the statistics that I shared with you is that within 3 years, a large majority of PMOs are no longer in existence. By supporting the implementation of strategic programs, EPMOs play a crucial role in delivering organizational value. Yet for many organizations, a struggle exists to define the PMO role, to position it for long-term success, and to leverage the office to help achieve strategic objectives. Effective EPMOs have a broad enterprise-wide responsibility and help direct strategy and focus on value delivery. Organizations that align their EPMO strategy to report 27% more projects completely successfully and 42% fewer projects with scope creep. So the key takeaway is that the skills needed for success focus on leadership, technical project management, and strategic and business management. Why are project rates declining? This question was posed to a number of respondents in PMI's study. And the answers came from two sources. The first was a global survey of over 2,428 project management practitioners, 192 senior executives, and 282 PMO directors from a range of industries. The second source was interviews with 8 corporate leaders and 10 PMO directors and directors of project management. From this research, the following key discoveries were made. Executive and PMO heads perceive project management differently. That is, there's limited value add there. Let me elaborate more on that. Executive leaders and PMO directors do not view organizational success and the benefits of project management in the same way. They have significantly disparate views about organizations' performance when it comes to either formulating strategy, prioritizing and funding projects, executing strategic projects, and recognizing the lessons learned. Additional gaps in perception exist because between the benefits of using formal project management and improving risk identification and management, success with complex projects, customer satisfaction, and success with organizational change. The second point is that executives and PMO leaders are both optimistic about the future. So in other words, they understand that PPM, there is a value add there. Executive leaders and PMO directors agree on the importance of improving their competitiveness over the next 3 years. In fact, 8 in 10 executive leaders and PMO directors agree that they will achieve that only by formulating strategies appropriate for changing market conditions, prioritizing and funding the correct initiatives and/or projects, executing initiatives and/or projects in a way that delivers strategic results, and using lessons learned from failed projects to inform strategic planning. With that being said, the PMI research continue to reinforce that when organizations embrace project, program, and portfolio management practices, they have better outcomes. Yet they see little or no change in the number of key capabilities through the studies that they've published over the past 5 or 6 years. Let's look at each of these different areas. Value. Just over half of the organizations fully understand the value of project management, a number that has remained the same over the past 5 years. PMO. The percentage of organizations with a PMO has remained the same for 5 consecutive years, with nearly 7 in 10 having a PMO. Furthermore, for the past 6 years, the types of PMOs in organizations have remained unchanged. 2/3 of organizations report having a department-specific, regional, or divisional PMOs, and nearly half of the organizations report having an ePMO. Practices. Nearly 6 out of 10 organizations use standardized project management practices throughout most or all of the enterprise. But only 1 in 4 uses standardized project management practices organization-wide, a decline of 3 percentage points from a year ago. Training and development. The percentage of organizations providing project management training on tools, competency development, and a defined career path remains unchanged since 2012. Just under half of the organizations report having a formal knowledge transfer process, a decline of 5% since last year. Executive sponsors. The average percentage of organizations' projects with active sponsors declined compared to last year. Only 59% of projects on average have actively engaged executive sponsors. Strategic alignment. Less than half of organizations report high alignment of projects to organizational strategy, a number that has been fairly constant over the past 3 years. And organizations report that compared to last year, fewer of their projects have strategic initiatives. That is, projects designed to achieve formulated strategy, an average of 48% of projects, down from 54% in 2015. Maturity. The percentage of organizations with high project management maturity has not changed for the past 6 years. Program and portfolio managers are equally established in the organization, with only 1 in 6 reporting a high maturity in each. Benefits realization. The percentage of organizations reporting high benefits realization maturity is at 17%, and that's remained static for the past 3 years. And the percentage of organizations reporting low maturity in benefits realization is trending upward. Nearly 4 in 10 now report low maturity. So if you look back over the statistics for each of these items that I just discussed, you'll find that there's a close correlation to really embracing your project portfolio and program management in terms of executing your corporate strategy.
Thank you, Dr. Harper, for that enlightening presentation on the current state of project portfolio management.
You're welcome.
Next segments will be presented by Dennis Wiggins, Managing Director of Executive Program Management Dashboards. Dennis Wiggins has over 2 decades of experience in the information technology industry and is an expert in the project portfolio management discipline. He is the recipient of the Project of the Year Award by the PMI Atlanta Chapter for leading the design and development of the PPM Executive Command Center. He is a certified graduate of the world-renowned General Electric Financial Management Program and has certifications as Project Management Professional and Lean Six Sigma Black Belt. We are fortunate to have Dennis as the leader of Team Exec. Dennis, please take us through the remaining segments of our presentation.
Thank you, Linda, for that introduction. And thank you for participating in the 2016 Battle of the PPM Tools. We'll be discussing two products, the Innotas PPM tool and the PPM Executive Command Center. In the project portfolio management discipline for several years, and currently they are ranked as the #1 PPM tool by Gartner. But Innotas is approximately in the middle of the Magic Quad in the leader category, and there's still some distance for PPM perfection. The PPM Executive Command Center received Project of the Year from the PMI Atlanta chapter, and in addition, it was presented at the IIE Conference and Expo 2015, and it was evaluated a 2.9 out of 3. We believe at Team Exec that the PPM perfection gap has been closed with the PPM Executive Command Center. At the current time, we're going to take you through a demonstration of the Innotas PPM tool so that we can do a comparison later on to the PPM Executive Command Center. Finally, we're going to watch a video which has been prepared by Innotas of the PPM, of their PPM tool.
Thanks for joining me today for this video overview of portfolio management in Innotas. Innotas Portfolio Management can help your organization to facilitate planning and prioritization of the entire project portfolio. It can also help you ensure that your portfolio remains well aligned with organizational initiatives and strategies. We'll start our tour here on the Portfolios tab in Innotas. As you can see, we've built a number of different portfolios, and we've arranged our portfolios hierarchically. We have some departmental portfolios set up: finance, R&D, and sales. We have an IT portfolio for helping us understand who is actually accomplishing the work. And we also have a program management portfolio for helping us manage key programs or for tracking strategic initiatives. If we drill into one of the portfolios, we can see key information about the portfolio, such as start date and target date, and an executive summary for the portfolio. In Innotas Portfolio Management, we can also track financial details about the portfolio. Here in the Finances tab, we can see key financial information, such as our budgeted hours and costs. We can view all the financial details for the projects that are on this portfolio and roll up those details to a portfolio level. This can be helpful for organizations that need to closely track a group of strategic projects to an overall budget. For example, we can see the total budget cost of the projects that are in the portfolio. We can also see how much we have actually spent on the project to date versus the total budget costs. Additionally, we can track notes on our portfolio. We can also upload attachments, such as our strategic plan on the strategic initiatives portfolio. On the Components tab, you can view all of the projects that are associated with this portfolio, along with information about each of the projects. Within Innotas, the relationship between project and portfolios is many-to-many. Thus, one project can be associated with many portfolios and vice versa. And lastly, Innotas offers portfolio-level dashboards. This enables you to quickly and easily report on all the projects that are associated with this portfolio. On this report, we're looking at strategic alignment. We can see that within this portfolio, we're working on projects related to business growth, customer service, and employee retention. Tracking strategic alignment can be helpful for organizations that are looking to effectively demonstrate the value of IT. Here on the dashboard, we can also track budgets versus actuals for each project within the portfolio. Innotas also supports the capability to track and manage project health. On this portfolio, it looks like 3 of our projects are in the red. I can also drill in and see more detail about why these projects are in the red. For example, the budget health, the schedule health, the scope health, and the resource health. I can also view project health on a Gantt chart and understand when these projects are going to be finished. Additionally, we can look at risks and issues by type. And if we want, we can change the output here to list view and see what are the different issues that are on all the projects within this portfolio. We can drill in, of course, and see different information about each issue or risk. To conclude, Innotas Portfolio Management helps you ensure that your project portfolio remains well aligned with organizational initiatives, as well as helps you strategically segment the portfolio so you can provide relevant reports and dashboards to key stakeholders at any point during the project lifecycle. I hope you've enjoyed this overview of Innotas Portfolio Management. To learn more about Innotas, please visit our website, www.innotas.com.
Hello, I hope you enjoyed that demo. I'd like to demonstrate another video provided by Innotas of their PPM tool.
Thanks for joining me today as we take a quick tour of Innotas Cloud Portfolio Management. We'll start our tour on the Portfolios tab. You'll notice that we've arranged our portfolios by functional area. So we have some departmental portfolios defined, we have an IT portfolio defined, segmented by functional area within IT. We also have a program management portfolio defined for helping us track strategic initiatives and for strategic planning activities. Portfolio management in Innotas is helpful from an organizational perspective to ensure that all the projects that we're taking on within the PMO stay well aligned with organizational priorities and initiatives, as well as providing visibility for key stakeholders. Drilling into a portfolio, you can see various details about the portfolio, such as start date and end date, and financial information of all the projects that are associated with the portfolio. We can also drill in and see what are all the projects associated with the portfolio and various details about each of the projects. Portfolio level dashboards allow us to see information about only the projects that are associated with this portfolio, such as budgets versus actuals for each of the projects, and project health for each of the projects. Innotas also supports application portfolio management, allowing us to build a single catalog or inventory of all the applications that we're responsible for managing and maintaining across the organization. There are several advantages to creating a single source of truth for this application information, such as supporting the capability to perform application analysis and rationalization, and helping you make decisions about what applications to invest in and what applications to move away from or eliminate. If we drill into an application, we can see various details about this application, such as the next maintenance renewal date, estimated retirement date, who is the sponsor or the lead business analyst associated with maintaining this application. We can also see key asset information, such as integrations, licenses, servers, or vendors. If we drill into the project section, you'll notice that we can see all of our projects laid out in a Gantt view, easily showing us when things are scheduled to take place. If we drill into a project, we can see relevant project details, such as who is currently assigned to the project by headcount. If we need to add an additional role to the project, you can see all of our roles along with role-based availability looking at about 12 months. Adding additional resources is also easy in Innotas. We can click in and understand what resources are available to work on our projects, what resources are not available to work on the project, and if someone is not available, when will they become available, and also what else are they currently working on, all in a single, easy-to-use, integrated view. Innotas also offers an intuitive task management capability to allow you to keep track of how your projects are progressing. As we can see, I can manage my task plan at a very high level, or I can drill in and manage it at a very detailed level. The entire task plan is edited in place, making it really easy to use and easy to maintain. Another capability offered by Innotas is issue and risk management. This allows you to have a single repository for collecting, managing, and reporting on all project-related issues and risks. With all this project and resource information stored in Innotas, we can build a strategic plan, leveraging Innotas PPA, or Predictive Portfolio Analysis. Within our strategic plan, we can build the highest value portfolio based on any quantitative inputs that we're tracking at the project level. In this case, we've built our portfolio based on project score. Once we've built our roadmap, we can then start to group the projects. For example, perhaps you want to group the projects by priority. As you can see, we're taking on all of our immediate priority projects and most of our high priority projects. As you can also see, the majority of the projects that we're not taking on are our medium priority projects. We can also view a list view of all the projects that are included and excluded. If priorities change within the organization and we need to iteratively make changes to the plan, we can simply drag projects that we now want to include into the included bucket, and we can drag projects that we no longer want to include into the excluded group of projects, and then rerun the scenario to get a different output. PPA will also tell us when is the optimal time to schedule our projects and who should be assigned on each project. And lastly, PPA will show us all of our roles on a heat map and when we may have bottlenecks for each role. Finally, with all this information captured on a single platform, Innotas offers reports and dashboards to provide your organization with an efficient way to create visibility and transparency into all aspects of the project portfolio. To learn more about Innotas, check out our website, www.innotas.com/resources.